Okay, I actually unmuted myself this time. Welcome!
Smart!
To episode 60 of the Spawn Point podcast. When
60?
the music from the
60.
game is too loud. There we go. 60! Welcome. Thanks for the host fire. It's appreciated. Welcome, SB. Welcome, Jamie. I think I saw Jamie in chat, yeah. Welcome.
Fire.
Welcome, guest. Not Cam. It says Cam. Not Cam.
Yeah.
Cam isn't here.
It says Cam and it's got the wrong gift, but it's cool. It's fine.
It says,
it
says Lewis.
I'll be second best.
Let me see
Whatever.
if I can change that on the fly.
Oh, look at this. Evan stream.
Which one is that? I don't know which that is.
Guess near Luke is probably
Yeah,
pretty.
he's-
I don't know where Luke is, to be honest, but
I don't even know where Luke is either. I just know
He's
not
at
here.
work. He's at work, so yeah, he's probably drinking.
I thought that Luke was playing Mass Effect Andromeda. That's what I assumed.
I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, he may
Lewis.
well have lied and said he was at work and is just playing Mass Effect Andromeda offline.
Boom. Lewis. Look at that.
How you did it?
It
How
happened.
Wow. Oh, look at that. Oh, I love it. Oh,
Fire.
Look at all that
Hello, Fire. Hello, Cam. Good stream, Cam. It was 10 out of 10.
Perfect.
Keep it up.
10 out of 10.
I don't even mind that it's the gift, because
Yeah.
it's a good gift. It's a good gift.
solid
Thanks
gift.
for the auto-host Revy. Thanks for the auto-host Luke.
Give me
Okay.
a Mass Effect.
Hey, Andy. No, actually,
Oh.
let's start with Lewis. Let's do guests first, right? That's how you be
Oh,
good
that's-
host.
Oh dear. Okay.
Hey, Lewis, how's your week?
Mass Effects.
That's an answer that we are probably going to delve deep into later.
It's
in the-
consuming my soul.
I promised in the tweet that it was only going to be 75% Mass Effect.
I think we have like all of the scales of like how people feel about Mass Effect on this podcast, so that'll be good. Because I know
Yeah,
Lewis
I think
loves
it.
it. I know Andy's like middle ground. I don't hate it, to be fair. Like I haven't even played it, so I guess we don't have all of the scales. I would like someone who hates it to be.
We should
fair.
have brought George on the podcast.
But don't
She's
worry,
really good at
I can pretend to hate things really well, so
it. Nice.
I'll do it. I'll be devil's advocate.
Nice.
Or not devil's advocate in this case. I'll be the masses. I feel like the majority of people are.
Yes, you'll be the general public.
Yes.
Nice.
Lewis also had his birthday this week. Everybody say happy birthday to Lewis.
For God's sake.
Ha.
And he got a job.
2 days ago.
Yeah.
Been and gone. I'm old.
Yeah, but with like, I'm trying to do week in review. And all you gave me was Mass Effect, so I'm gonna do it.
That's all this week has been for me.
Everything else just paled into insignificance when Mass Effect came out, right?
That's fair.
Basically,
That's fair.
that was just me trying to pass the time.
Yeah,
That's
just
it.
counting the days, right?
I really low key enjoy it, but
All right then, Andy. How's your week? Give me
Mass
more than
Effect.
Mass Effect. Oh my god. Quit! I quit! Why do I even do this?
But no, I've had to stop going back to work to get paid, which is less than ideal.
At least the weather is getting. At least in Liverpool, it's getting better.
Yeah, I mean, it was fucking boring as anything most of the week because it's still like cold and it's still
Yeah.
naff. So
It's not the
I think
most
I counted
active.
the amount of people I saw on, I think it was Tuesday. I saw 24 people all
Wow.
day.
That is not a lot.
I brought my Kindle to work, finished an entire book.
Oh
was that
wow.
including staff or?
No, that's not including stuff.
Fair. Huh.
So
Well,
it's been an exciting few days, but then Mass Effect came out, so and I even managed to have the day off for that. Didn't even book it. I just had a day off.
oh,
It's great.
thanks for the host, Jamie. I don't know why host things don't pop up. I need to go look at that. It's meant to
fixed
host.
it.
It doesn't come up for auto-hosting, and there's an option that you can tick for auto-hosting, and I ticked it, and it still doesn't come up. It's like,
just
thank
like
you,
that.
Streamlabs. Streamlabs, by the way, has been a hot mess for the past 2 months. Like, the past 2 months solid. Like, almost every streamer I watch, like, from, like, you know, the simplest setups to like the most like high-end streamers I watch.
It doesn't matter what it is, they just can't do it.
Yeah, Streamlabs is just like, nah, son.
At least it's consistent, right?
Yeah, I guess.
That's good.
Yeah,
Right.
Streamlabs, from what I've seen, it's not having a good time.
Yeah, I know there was like some server migration happening, which probably caused a lot of issues, but still, I don't care. I want my stuff to work.
Yeah,
Thank you for the host cam. That didn't come up either.
It could maybe have a couple of like times where things break down, not 2 months worth of being broken.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's enough time to at least
a
start
lot
solving your problems.
of what I've seen with Streamlabs breaking as well is when people have tried to donate and it's been like, nah, you're good.
Nah.
You didn't donate. What are you even talking about?
No. What about you, Kamal? How's your week been?
My week's been pretty good. Nothing too special either. I mean, I even have Mass Effect. so that's been boring. I got, it's kind of been nice because I've had like a really normal week. And my past 2 weeks have been a bit hectic. So
It's nice to chill for a change.
yeah, I've pretty much just been mainlining Zelda every day, all day, other than uni. Like, I get home from uni, I mainline Zelda.
You wake up, play Zelda, go to uni, come home, play Zelda, sleep for like 3 hours, play Zelda,
Play
go
Zelda,
out, come
yep.
back home, play Zelda.
Pretty much, that is my life. Constantly finding new things. That game is a masterpiece. That game is just beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful game. Like,
Do you get to have sex with everyone though?
I don't gonna have sex with anyone.
You see, that's there.
I don't know, I feel like people would be uncomfortable. I think Link's like 17 or 18.
It's just that he's 18, it's fine.
Maybe he's 18, maybe!
Don't worry about it. He's
To
probably
be fair, he's 117
Well, there
or
you
18,
go.
so yeah, he could
I don't
bang
want
what
to.
he
I don't want
wants.
to see a 170-year-old person have sex either, but that's not the point. It's legal, alright?
Hey dear.
The legal age is all that matters.
Other than that, Humble Bundle did a bundle, a streaming bundle, and it has like a lot of stuff in it, like for streamers and non-streamers. I mean, no, mainly for streamers. There is some stuff for non-streamers, I guess. And one of the things in the Humble Bundle is this game here, Choice Chamber. Choice Chamber is a game, I think it's a platformer, and I think that you can type stuff in chat. Like, I think if you type, like, hello, like right now, or hi, or hey, or sup, it does something. I don't even know. Let's find out.
Let me try that.
Ah. Yeah, it counts entries in the top corner. But, oh yeah, they pop up in the middle of the screen. But yeah, so you guys get to play that while we chat. This one is fun. Hopefully. Look at that, it's popping up. So I'm gonna start.
Yeah, do it.
So you can read in the top corner like what kind of the options are. So while we talk, and while we do that, who wants to go first with the news?
Why don't you go first, Kamal?
Okay.
Yes.
I was not prepared. I was not prepared to be the person who goes first.
Kamal, am I up something and you ain't done?
All right. Okay. Well, so we just started this, but like, I'm gonna be like, let me wait for the thing to go off. But yeah, I'm gonna talk about Death Note from Netflix.
Yes.
So Netflix has announced. They announced a while back actually that they were gonna do a live action Death Note series. They announced some of the actors like a couple months ago, and a teaser just came out, and we'll show that teaser in a bit. So I kind of want to talk about Death Note, but I also want to talk a bit about whitewashing in media, since I feel like it's also topical because of Iron Fist right now.
Sure, yeah.
So I will show that trailer first. I'm just waiting for the timer on this thing to go out. It takes like a minute. Here we go.
I've actually been watching a bit of more of Iron Fist as well, so we can talk about that a bit as well.
Okay, there we go.
I've got past episode 1.
They picked bow. I got a bow now. Okay, I'm gonna pause. Let's play the trailers. Let's trailerify this place. Main monitor. There we go. Okay. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hit it.
Say what? Nice.
as written in this note, shall die.
Shall we begin?
So, why does this feel like Dragon Ball Evolution to me?
Because it's all white people.
It's Hollywood anime.
So it's all white people.
There's actually a couple like this and Ghost in the Shell. A couple anime Hollywood remakes happening right now. I think the big I'm sure it won't be, but the main guy looks goofy. Well, there you go. You got his face right now. Can you get in right
look,
that delicious face?
Quick thing, Kamal. Just need to get this out of the way. But doesn't he look like Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker?
Kind of. I can see
like
that.
in his emo phase.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
The best Spider-Man.
Right. Okay. So main takeaways from the trailer are August 25th launch date. So that's a thing. It's a film. In case anyone's wondering, it's not a TV show. It's a Netflix film, so those are becoming slightly more common. Netflix is trying to step into the film space a bit more. We saw last week when Cam was here. What's it called? Bright?
Yeah, that's Bright.
Yeah, that Netflix film that they freaking took our podcast off YouTube for because we showed their trailer. Great.
Will Smith doesn't want us to show his stuff, apparently.
Yeah, they're probably going to take this one off too.
Still going to upload on Wednesday, so I don't care.
Right.
Wow.
So my big thing before we get on the elephant in the room. My big thing was Death Note live actions. Death Note live actions have happened before. For anyone who's a Death Note fan and doesn't know that, and for anyone in chat who doesn't, Death Note's an anime. It's a detective mystery anime set in Japan. The overall premise is that there is a book in this world that gods of death have, and they can write people's name in this book, and it's a death sentence basically. And you can even specify to a degree how a person dies and stuff like that, and it will occur. And somehow one of those books gets into the mortal plane of existence, and it follows this character's decisions and use cases and how he tries to attempt to change the world with this power that he gets. So that's what the anime is about. The movie will probably be similar. They have made live action films before in Japan. Death Note is actually really hot property in Japan. Surprise, surprise, it's a very popular anime. And they have made, I think, 2 to 3 live action films in Japan. They've all been mediocre. They haven't been the worst thing in the world, but they definitely weren't great. The anime was better than all of them. Surprise, surprise.
The
original was better, who thought?
But the thing that's really jarring, and I'll actually try and bring the guy up. So in Death Note, there's a character called Ryuku, or Ryuk, and he's a Shinigami, and he looks demented as fudge, right? He looks really.
What's a Shinigami?
God of Death.
God of Death.
Okay.
Right.
The ones that have the Death Note.
I know who this guy is. I've seen pictures of this. I've never seen
anime. They look.
Yeah, he looks really demented. So when and the thing about that is it's really artistic as well, in the sense that when they try to bring this into the real world, it just doesn't work.
It's kind of hard to capture that with a real person.
Yeah, so they always CGI it, but it's always really jarring for me. So this is I'm showing some CGI shots of it, and it never works in my opinion. So I'm interested to see what Netflix does with that. And in the trailer, you might have seen, there's a little scene at the end where they show him, but they don't really show him. They just show his eyes and shadowy figure.
It just looks like a really weird giant puppet thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's weird.
To be fair, the voice for him sounds quite good. You
I
only hear one
mind
line for half a second, but it's not the worst thing I've ever heard.
Yeah,
it's perfect. It's easier to get the voice because obviously you've got to voice a character like that with a person anyway.
Yeah.
So you can replicate that, but you can't exactly perfectly replicate the way you can draw or design a character.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also like steering away from Shinigami real quick. That, to my knowledge, I probably did. I might have just been unobservant, but we didn't get to look at L in the trailer.
We did. L is black.
Oh, that's L.
Yes, L is black in this
in
this show.
I guess I was just an idiot.
There we go.
That's probably why I didn't know.
That's L right there. You can see the spikes there too. Yeah. What's it called?
God,
what was I thinking? To Nia's comment, I will say though, like, this is a minute and it's a trailer. Like, it's just gonna the way trailers work is they're just like they shove action in your face and they go like, "Be hype," you know, like it. I don't think we can super tell like whether it's gonna properly go down like kind of the it's Death Note is very Sherlock Holmesy in the sense that it's about like two very smart people trying to one up each other at every turn. And hopefully they don't focus too much on action and they do focus more on like what is happening in these guys' heads. Because like Al, who is a black guy in this, is meant to be like very, very, very intelligent detective, and the white weirdo at the end is meant to be playing Light, and I don't know if he's called Light in this, but anyway. And he's meant to be very smart. It looks a bit like Tobey Maguire, which puts me off because Tobey Maguire did not come
So
off
you'd
as
rather
smart.
be like a psychological battle rather than just...
Yeah, well, that's, in my opinion, the
Is
best
that
part
what
of the anime
I've never
in
seen
itself.
this anime, so...
Yeah.
Like, the best part of the anime is just, like, without spoiling anything, like, doing something, and then Elle figuring it out, and then, like, trying to one-up him, and then Elle's trying to one-up that.
Yeah.
And it's like seeing how they think is ridiculous because they're both really smart.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you get a really good perspective from regular people's views where they just kind of sat there like, what the fuck is all of this?
Yeah, I don't necessarily not have faith in CGI. I think I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, CGI sucks and CGI can't be done right. I think CGI is done right a lot. The thing about CGI is like, it's in everything but like it's done so well in most things people don't even notice it's there. So people only notice when it's done badly, and then they develop like this negative connotation for CGI, you know.
Yeah.
But like it's really common in the modern world. But you know, I haven't seen necessarily Netflix do anything like melding CGI.
Many CGI stuff that Netflix has done, but I can't really.
There's a film called Spectral, which is on Netflix.
Is that completely CG or is it like?
No, but there's a lot of CG because it's about humans fighting weird invisible aliens.
Did it work well?
It looked quite good in my opinion. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's a good sign.
So at least they've got like some track
And
record.
I'm about to say, if it's Death Note,
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll have quite a large fund for it.
Hopefully.
So I hope most of that has gone into making the Shinigami look ridiculous, but also, you know, horrifying, because that's how they're supposed to look.
Yeah. So now to address the elephant in the room. That man is white.
Elle is black as well.
And that man is black!
Well, you're saying they're not like that in the anime?
Surprisingly, in the anime, both of the main characters are Japanese.
Oh my god, who would have thunk?
And it's set in Japan. So lots of people, I would like Nia, and I wish Rota was here, because Rota was actually having this conversation about I've pissed before. I don't know if he is. I would love your opinions as representatives of your entire race. Don't worry, guys. I've been there. As a black person, I have also had to represent my entire race. But, what's it called? Okay, I'm gonna explain my stance on why I don't think this is a problem. Okay?
Okay.
Specifically in Death Note, and then I'll say my stance on whitewashing in general, right?
Okay.
I think specifically for this movie, the reason I do not care about the set, like the change of, they've changed the location to what looks like San Francisco. I want to say, I think that's a building from San Francisco in that shot. Here, I think that's the tower in San Francisco, right? So they've changed the location to that, and they've changed the characters obviously to people. Like, I guess you could have picked Asian people in San Francisco. Asian people definitely exist in San Francisco. But, like, not necessarily Japanese people, right? They've picked...
They've kind of gone more native.
Yeah.
It's like people that would be born and bred in San Francisco.
But
be American.
Basically, my gist of the argument is that, like, Death Note has been done live action by Japanese people in Japan. That's already been done, right?
Yeah.
Like, so, like, I don't see the point of Netflix coming around the corner, like, and being like, okay, so we're gonna do Death Note again with Japanese people in Japan, but in English.
Yeah, it seems like not really a forward step. It's just like the same thing again.
It's just trying to hit like that same point that's already been hit twice, at least, maybe 3 times. I keep forgetting.
I guess by doing this, they can like branch it out to a new audience or whatever.
Yeah, I think like the advantage to this is definitely like to try and like and this very well could be crap because of this, but like to try and not tell the exact same story, like to try and maybe modernize it a bit, maybe make it a bit more like viable for a live action scene, like because like the thing with anime is animators and anime authors and stuff try to take advantage of the fact that the only their limitation is drawing, which is not really a limitation. So there's like they can break the laws of physics whenever they want. They can draw anything they want into the scene. They've got a lot of creative
freedom to do as they like.
Yeah, they just bend the world to their will. So lots of that doesn't ever translate well to real life. So I'm hoping this is also a sign that they will be like bending the story a bit. And I don't want major changes, like the rules of the game, as it were, like the rules of the Death Note.
Yeah.
They don't need to be touched. Those are perfect, and they translate to the real world fine. But maybe some of the scenes, definitely maybe the second half of the show, I wouldn't mind that being edited completely.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So that's kind of my stance on it. Is like it's just like it. If Netflix came in and they were like, we're just going to do it, we're going to get English Japanese actors, to keep the characters right to their original ethnicity. And then we're also going to set it in Japan to keep like the place right? It would just feel like you shouldn't make it at all. Just don't make it, like, because that's been done. Like, I can read it with subtitles. It's not that big of a deal to have it like, or dub an original one. Go, done, easy. You know?
Yeah, it's. I mean, I weirdly enough, well, I say weirdly enough, I actually completely agree. Which is, it probably would have been better to have someone that disagreed with you, Kamal.
Yeah.
It's like Netflix is just basically doing what most people should do when they like borrow things. It's just like they're just taking the premise and just making their own version.
Yeah, for sure.
Like as long as, like you said, as long as they don't turn Elle into like some fucking raving party animal. Because like the best part about Elle is that he's just a massive introvert who doesn't know how to talk to humans.
Yeah.
He just like can't function in society, and it's like if they change that, it might be an issue.
Yeah.
But
basically, it's like you want to keep like the basic structure of the story, and they have a bit of creative freedom to try and make it their own. So
like, as long as they like keep the characters as true as they can, obviously
as long as
they've
they
changed.
don't like rewrite an entire character.
Yeah,
basically.
like they've changed obviously their backgrounds from the look of it and everything, but as long as like Errol's still just massively introverted and like just is him. Does what he does.
So I'm sure that like all fans of the original will absolutely love it if they rewrote the entire character. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Really enjoy that.
Yeah.
So
always the best way to get your fan base on point.
Yeah, but like I do understand the whole like the plight. Like I think Ghost in the Shell is a better example of probably why you shouldn't of when you should use an Asian character and you should represent the original character's ethnicity correctly and not whitewash or not change, specifically like just change characters. I think in Death Notes, because I feel like the term whitewash is more representative to just taking like other ethnicities and making them white people, which does happen a lot. Absolutely, especially in like Hollywood and that sort of stuff. Which like I mean in Ghost in the Shell they took the main character of the show and they were like, hey, let's use Scarlett Johansson because people know Scarlett Johansson. And people don't know Asians because we never give them roles.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a catch-22.
If only we could give Asians roles, we could play more Asians. But let's not give Asians this role because we don't have any Asians that people know. So it's like
it's just never going to go
anywhere. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
They've really fucked themselves, basically.
Basically, yeah.
My question was, why wouldn't they make him awful looking? Seems like it would fit better. # more ugly in Hollywood. Let's get more ugly people up in Hollywood. To be fair, they were both fairly good looking in the show. So, I don't know.
I mean...
But yeah, like, it was weird to me when Scarlett Johansson was cast as the main character of Ghost in the Shell. And it was even weirder to me when I found out that the directors were, like, investigating ways to use CGI to make her look more Asian.
Yeah, that was the worst part.
They were literally trying to make electronic Asian face.
It's like... There's a solution to that. Just get an Asian person to play them.
Yeah.
Just don't get a white person and then make them look Asian, because that's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
Fucking... There's one thing in Death Note which I hope they don't change. It's quite a small thing, well, you don't scheme thing. Come on, you'll know what I'm on about, Andy. You won't have a clue. But basically, the whole, like, one of the best things that I thought about the show was the fact that when Ryu comes down, he's like, "Oh look, there's a human with my death." No, you know, he just chills in the background, talks to him, cracks jokes, like just rips the shit out of him. And it's like they have like a really interesting dynamic of like they're not friends, but like they're just gonna have to be with each other, and they just kind of like grows over time. It's fucking awesome. And like, I hope they don't change that to where it's just Ryu just sitting in the background trying to be all broody and evil.
Yeah.
Which by all means he is, because he's a god of death.
Yeah.
But he actually has fun with it, and like he just cracks jokes about everything, and like just laughs, and then won't tell him what he's laughing about because he can't change like people's futures. Well, that is really cool.
He doesn't mind whitewashing in anime because anime characters look more Western than Asian. I don't think that's true. I don't think anime characters look human.
Yeah.
I don't think they look Western. I don't think they look human.
I don't think they don't even look like people.
No, yeah. Like, I don't think that's a valid argument of, like, oh, this character's Asian, but I think he looks...
Actually, so with some animes that look more Western. I know Fullmetal Alchemist they look Western, but
yeah, but that's because...
Really, that's not a normal one, is it?
No, that's because in Fullmetal Alchemist characters aren't Asian, though. They're Germanic. Like...
Yeah.
They weren't meant to be, like, Asian. So, like, it was anime you definitely have to read, because, like, it's not race isn't representative in the art style most of the time. There are more realistic animes, to be fair. Like, Baccano, for example, is very, like, the race is very clear in that anime. From the art style to, like, the voice acting and everything, they make it clear, like, where people are from. But for the most part, it's just like, this is the art style, and by default they're Asian, because, like, that's just, it's just the case, you know? Like, it's an Asian show made in Asia for Asian people, set in Asia, most of the time.
Yeah.
So, you know. I don't know, Luke was having a conversation about Iron Fist was Rota, and about whitewashing, and I think Rota was saying that, like, the main character for Iron Fist, Danny Rand, they were considering setting up a different Asian dude in the show was up for the role of main character, and then they they decided not to do that, which I can understand in Iron Fist because like Danny Rand is white, like he always has been.
If you think about it, it does make sense, and I think a lot of people on the internet are just getting mad about it just for the sake of getting mad about it.
Well, I can see the other side of it too, though, because like whenever like characters get changed from every ethnicity in the world to white, but like the second Asians ask for it to be the other way around, everyone's like, oh no, not now. Now it's not okay anymore. Now we want equality.
Oh, you can't change the character's race. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, we would never do that, and then you carry on doing it to white people.
That's different when we do it.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons was, again, it's just like with the Marvel Netflix shows, they're staying relatively like close to the comic book origins and stories.
I don't know.
So,
I mean, they whitewashed.
they
Whitewashed in Doctor Strange. They've whitewashed in other shows, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I'm talking about Netflix, not just like, I don't give a fuck about the films. But, like the Netflix series, like all of them, they're relatively close.
I should probably wait for chat a little bit
more or less identical to like the comic book origins. So like, in their eyes, they probably didn't want to like drastically change one of them.
No, I can understand their decision, but when people like Luke and stuff were like, when people like Luke and stuff were arguing that would be pandering and stuff, I was like, oh yeah, easily said, like, by someone in a demographic that constantly gets to win, you know?
It's easy.
Like, it's like, oh, now it's pandering. It's like,
it's easy to call pandering when you're the one that's being pandered to most of the time.
Yeah.
Then you just lash out when it's not about you.
It's definitely not pandering. That's ridiculous. Yeah. But like, if he got cast, I wouldn't really mind. He's a good actor. He looks like he could kick my ass. Anyone could kick my ass, to be honest. But he looks like he could kick anyone's ass, which is kind of Iron Fist's thing. So like, you know, not bad.
Is the Pokemon characters white? Why are you talking about Pokemon? Wait, which Pokemon characters are whitewashed? What?
Or is it something else?
This is Espy says, yeah.
We are not talking about Pokemon.
I can
right now we're talking about Iron Fist. Before we were talking about Death Note. Pokemon hasn't had a live action, right? So
I don't think so. Well, I mean,
I hope not, for the sake of Pokemon.
But yeah, the other thing with Pokemon is it depends like on if they're writing a new region or not, because there have been regions in Pokemon that like weren't Japan, you know, and there have been regions like the new one, like the new Pokemon Sun and Moon,
the new one.
is not set in Japan.
Is that the one supposed to be France, or was that one before that?
No, Sun and Moon's like meant to be like Hawaii.
Oh yeah, that's Hawaii. Yeah, that's the new one. Yeah.
I don't know what the other ones, but yeah, there were a lot.
Another one, I think it must be the one, but I mean, the other one of them was supposed to be France. I think that must be the one before that. Is that X and Y?
Maybe, I don't know.
Pokemon, so I'm not.
I could see that actually now. I'm thinking about the scenery in X and Y makes sense. Pick me! Pick me? Oh, pick me.
Pick me there.
Oh, room captain. I
Yeah.
see. So many questions. Right. So I don't know. I don't think there's much else to say since we don't seem to like. There's not much disagreement happening here, so it's a pretty easy conversation. Right. Okay. So my next piece of news.
We disagreement about Mass Effect.
My next piece of news. I'm going to show some gameplay here, but like, okay. So there's a game. I've talked to Fire a bit about this. I don't think I've talked to anyone else really. Maybe Josh actually. Yeah. There's a game coming out on PlayStation 4. Called Everything. And I'm going to show some gameplay while I talk about this game. And I want you guys to, in chat, to view this gameplay just like a bit open-mindedly, right? And if possible, in your own time, go watch it, because it's 10 minutes and you need the audio. But I'm not going to play 10 minutes of like audio for people to understand what this is. So I'm going to try and talk over it and explain what it is quickly and tell you why I think this game is really cool and some other stuff about it. So Everything is a game that's being made by God, I should have remembered the guy's name. He is a filmmaker. He's written a couple episodes of Adventure Time. He's called David O'Reilly. And this is kind of like, I think, his second forte in the space of video games. Everything is weird. Like, it's not a game. It's one of those games that's not really. It's not designed per se like in the way a regular game is. It's designed like he had a core like concept that he wanted to portray. And if you play the game like long enough, you should hopefully be able to understand what he was trying to say. Whether you agree with it or disagree with it is a different thing. So like, I'm gonna jump around this trailer a bit to get the point across. But when you start up Everything, it's a game on the PlayStation. It's indie. It's been in development for a very very long time. And when you start it, you get to be an animal, and it's a random animal. And you walk around or you roll around, as you can probably see in the footage. There's no like real walking animations; they just kind of roll about. And then as you play the game and you interact with other animals, you soon realize that you can switch. Like you can switch your body into other things, and become a different animal, right? And then you'll and like when you start playing the game for the first time, it goes like macro to micro. So like you can only move to smaller things. So eventually you'll move from you'll move from a bear to like a bird to a leaf of grass to an ant to like a bacterium to an atom to a neutron to a quark. Like you just keep getting smaller, and the worlds at each of these levels are designed right to a degree. Obviously you can tell the gameplay isn't deep, but that's because of the sheer mass of content in this game that you only really start to understand when you start imagining the scales that this guy has created. So it's basically, if you've ever seen, there's a YouTube video and there's a website going around that are around on the internet, and every once in a while they stumble into popularity, and it's basically like they're like scale simulators, and they like zoom into like the smallest thing, and then they explode like outwards, like going like from quark like to solar system to show you like size variation. This is that, but like kind of in game form.
Yeah. So
you can somewhat to a degree control and interact with other things in each of these forms, right? Whenever you switch a form, you have a catalog of like everything, right? And whenever you enter something for the first time, it gets added to your catalog. And when you go into your catalog, welcome Luke. When you go into your catalog, you can select that thing and churn into that form whenever you want, right? So like in a sense, you could say that the gameplay loop is about catching them all, Pokemon-esque style, like just turning into everything. But the game really there's this interesting little piece of it that I haven't mentioned so far that really portrays the bigger picture. Every once in a while, you will stumble onto audio logs, kind of like in The Witness, right? And these audio logs are like little snippets of a lecture that was done by a guy called what's his name, Alan Watts, in like 1960. So Alan Watts was like a psychologist and a scholar, like in lots of major American unis. He came to England. He gave some talks. He has a beautiful voice. And he's basically a scholar that he was a concept he was trying to portray, right? And teach like people is he believed that people are taught like to be individuals, and that naturally we are not individuals. Naturally we are part of this bigger system, right? And like the lecture itself is really interesting, and like if you listen to it with an open mind, I think it can be like pretty moving. But like the way it integrates with this game, and specifically this trailer, this 10-minute trailer, if you go watch it, is just art. It's really just like the trailer in of itself is a short film, and I loved it. I watched the trailer. I watched all 10 minutes of it. I couldn't look away like when it started getting into it. The agreements that you have was Alan Watts' philosophy is irrelevant in my opinion, because the execution of the design of this thing is really like was the music and the gameplay and everything just wraps up into like this really immersive package. I don't know, I just saw it and I was like, I gotta talk about this. I need people to see this because it's so different from any other video game out there right now. Like,
yeah.
And it's really it's something. It's not. I don't think it's gonna do well.
No, it seems like
it's not going to sound like Horizon Zero Dawn, is it?
No, yeah, and I don't, and I can understand it not doing well because I don't think, like from like, and I am usually the guy who sits there and tells Fire it's not about that, it's about the gameplay, you know, and like from that aspect, like it's very simple, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I don't think it's going to do well, but I do like that someone tried this.
That someone stretched and tried to put a concept out there rather than
just doing the same thing again and again.
Yeah.
That is.
This reminds.
I mean, I'm more one for just like pointing and shooting a gun at things, but this actually looks really interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what the price tag is. That would probably like help me be able to be like, oh, should you do this? The other thing is, if you watch the trailer, you'll know if this is even like somewhat interesting to you. Like, you'll watch the trailer, you'll either be like, oh, like me, this is really cool, I'd never buy this, just because like I feel like I've gotten everything I could get out of it from the trailer and I appreciate that the guy's doing it. Or you'll watch the trailer and you'll be like, this is dumb. Or you'll watch the trailer and you'll be like, I need everything that is in this everything in my life.
To be fair, I would be tempted to get it just for the rolling and animal animations.
The animals are so weird.
That's amazing.
I think it's...
I'm on their website right now, and it seems to be getting very good reviews. It's got like 5 out of 5, 4.5 out of 5, 9 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 9 out of 10.
I think the amazing thing about it is that like I feel like everyone, like except for now because I prefaced, but even to a degree I bet everyone watching was like, what the fudge is this? And like when you start like watching that trailer and you just see that bear rolling around, I was like, is this like some Goat Simulator joke ass stupid dumb piece of crap game? And then they start, and then like the lecture starts, like he just starts talking, and you get like kind of taken away into this like ride into philosophy.
It's really weird juxtaposition. Like it's got like the really simplistic animations of all like the game things, and then like the narrative of what it's trying to tell you is like such a on such another level.
Yeah, for sure. It's
interesting, yeah.
Still better than some Andromeda animation. We are going to talk about that later.
We'll get to that, Jamie. We're going to get to that.
But
I'm
yeah.
ready.
I don't, like I said, I don't see a lot of people playing this. I know Fire was considering getting it. I don't even know that it would do well in that stream format. From what I hear, it's a very, 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 very large game.
Yeah, I can imagine if the game's called everything, it's going to be big, right?
You can think of, like, another way to understand, like, how large this game is you see was the simple animations that he has in that he clearly spent no time on. It took him, I think, 3 to 4 years to make this game. So that's the amount of content that's in there. Like, you know, you make a single tree, like, in probably a couple days. So imagine, like, the number of animals and things and atoms.
You can make over all that time.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's going to be like a planet's worth of stuff, right?
Yeah. It's gonna be everything,
and then
guys.
further out, yeah. It's literally going to everything, yeah.
It's awesome.
I hope it does well because it looks really interesting. But
It's
like
good
I said,
that
I
people
really
still
don't-
like go out there and make games like this that are like totally like off the wall.
Yeah. And from what I can tell, this guy does well for himself anyway. I don't think this was an attempt by him to become richer / successful. Like, I don't think he's delusional enough to think that this is gonna be that.
Yeah.
Because there's no chance. But
It's more that he's got the money so he can branch out and make a game that's totally different.
yeah, just like have an idea and be like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. Whatever, you know.
Put something new out there. Because obviously, it's the sort of game that is, like I said, it's not going to be hugely successful with a lot of people. But if you get, obviously, for a few people, it is going to hit like the right sort of note with them.
Yeah.
And it's going to be something that they're really going to be able to take something away from, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that's all I wanted to. Yes.
Needs an indie game the movie of its own. Totally.
I just want more indie game the movies. Like,
yeah, totally. Yeah.
Regardless of like the game they're talking about, they're so cool. They're such good documentaries. Like, there's oh my god, I need to get this. I need to get this for everyone watching. There is a YouTube channel. There is a YouTube channel that I am subscribed to. That it was kickstarted and it just does video game documentaries, like mini video game documentaries on YouTube.
Oh, is that the one you sent me of Doom?
Yes, they did one on Doom. It was glorious. It was amazing. Like, and the insight that you get about the industry and the way like everything works is just like unparalleled. Where is it? Where is it? This is gonna take me a second while I look for this. Yeah, that was all I really wanted to say about everything. Like I said, in the link dump, the video, we will link the trailer, and it's worth watching the entire 10 minutes. It's really worth it, in my opinion. If you hate it, come talk to me. I want to have a conversation with you. If you like it, come talk to me. I want to have a conversation with you. Like, I think there's some really interesting conversation you can have just off the back of that trailer. Frick, where is this YouTube channel?
I'll tell you what. Damn it, I was about to say I had to go on to my thing, but we can't because we need to come out to bring the thing up.
Doom.
And you can talk about the other two things on your list if you want.
Oh yeah, they're called. It's called NoClip. I'm gonna add it to the link dump as well. But if you search NoClip documentaries on YouTube, it's crowdfunded by Patreon and Kickstarter. Video game documentaries about just like some of the coolest companies and the coolest people in the video game industry doing what they do. It's great.
No clip, yeah?
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in here, Andy.
Okay.
That's what Cam just mentioned something in the chat that we should probably mention because it's a big deal. The whole SourceFed kind of
SourceFed is dead!
Not being a thing anymore.
SourceFed's that YouTube news channel, right? I don't really watch it a lot.
Yeah, same. I've never really watched anything to do with SourceFed, so...
But it's still...
Okay, so if I understand correctly, SourceFed got bought by Discovery like a year ago, and then they just decided it wasn't financially viable or something?
Yeah, I'm reading the things that earlier this week, Group 9 Media bought SourceFed and they closed it down because because it looks like it's not financially viable. It had 906 million views and 1.7 million subscribers.
Yeah. See, that's sad because like Philip DeFranco used to own that and run it, and I think he still ran it, but he didn't own it when it ended. And I feel like if he had kept ownership of that, like, while it would have been financially so much worse for him, it would have been profitable enough that he wouldn't need to shut it down. And I think, like, when you sell stuff like that to these big companies like Disney and stuff, you lose a lot of, like, the care of the actual material coming out, and it just becomes the balance sheet at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'm reading that Discovery and Philip DeFranco, neither of them had any say over it.
Yeah.
It was only Group 9 Media that shut them down.
Fair.
So obviously I think it says they were able to make a last week's schedule, and that was it, basically.
Yeah. Saddening thing for me is that it was one of the first YouTube partnership channels, and now all of those people will potentially lose their jobs. Yeah, no, definitely. Like, people think a lot about the on-camera staff in SourceFed, but like that was a big show. There must have been a lot of background people like working on editing and filming and scheduling.
Yeah,
and stuff.
we were talking about this not long ago. How there's way bigger than you would think with all these channels and stuff.
Well,
like,
it's
they've
like
got so
the
much
Fine
behind
Brothers,
the
they
scenes
have
people.
like a 3-floor office, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, God knows how many people like just working for them and just like editing, like fucking anything you can think of. They've probably got someone.
It's like Disney bought Maker a while back, and recently, so Maker had about 60,000 partners that they managed. And I think a couple of weeks ago, they just announced out of the blue, without even telling the partners that they had, that they were going to cull that 60,000 group to 1,000. So they were going to let go of 59,000 partners that were
you couldn't even. That's just inconceivable, right? Like,
yeah. Without even telling, so when they announced this to the media, they hadn't even told the people that they were letting go, that they were being let go.
So they found out they were getting let go like, on the news, basically.
Yeah, like Jim Sterling is one of Maker's partners, and like I saw him tweeting about it. Like I don't even know if I'm going to be like on that list of 1,000 people, you know, and it's messed up.
It's like, I think it's still at the point in time where some people. I know a lot of people that still don't think that these sort of things are like real jobs, like being on YouTube and like being a content creator.
Yeah.
Like I was just listening to a podcast about this afternoon, and it's just like people still view it as like not a real thing. It's just like a hobby that people do, but like genuinely people that make their livelihoods of all of this.
Yeah.
And like, to see like, how so many people would just be like sort of callously axed with like not even like a buy your leave. It's just it just shows how little some people think of like new media and that sort of thing.
For sure. It's
kind of sad. Hopefully it's a thing that'll change up in the future, but it doesn't really help these people, right? So.
Yeah. Well, that's my news. I only had 2 things this week. It was a pretty quiet week, to be honest.
So, Spoder, why don't you go next with your news?
You just want to watch this trailer, don't you? Well,
I mean, I've already seen it, so, but yeah, I'm happy
we
to watch it
have
again.
a trailer, Kamal. You could very lovingly get it up.
What's it
It's
about?
it's for a very beloved series of mine, and I'm sure quite a lot of other people in this chat.
Took me back to when I was like...
Captain Bloody Underpants, boys.
Oh, I'm ready.
Not the official title, that's my title.
Hold me.
I'm ready. Here we go.
Hold me, I'm ready.
3, 2, 1,
It's-
hit it.
Hi, I'm Kevin Hart. And I'm Ed Helms.
Yeah, we
Check
have
out
to-
the sneak
just
peek of
ignore
our
the
new
bits
movie,
first.
DreamWorks
Yeah,
Captain
you just can do that a little bit
Underpants.
first,
It's the
yeah,
story of a
that's fine.
superhero. I take that
I
back.
mean, Kevin
It's
Hart's a
barely
hilarious
superhero.
person. but
He's
still.
absolutely a superhero.
I haven't
Captain
actually watched this
Underpants.
trailer.
He doesn't
I
have
would say
X-ray
that,
vision. He can't
Oh my
even
God,
climb
really?
a tree. Wearing a cape does not make him a superhero.
Yes, it does.
You know, I'm not going to argue with you. Why don't you guys decide for yourselves by watching the sneak peek of DreamWorks Captain Underpants?
The superhero.
It's not a superhero.
He's a total superhero.
Tomato, tomato. What is happening right now?
I don't know.
Let's try and leave and see what happens.
Wow, that's an expensive door.
From the studio that brought you Shrek, Kung Fu Panda, and Madagascar.
Hi, I'm George Beard, and this is my best friend Harold Hutchins.
We just make comics and try to make each other laugh.
And this old guy is Mr. Crutch.
George, Harold!
He's the worst principal in the world.
Ever since you attended this school, you've been responsible for one prank after another.
Some of those must have been really hard to pull off.
Like that tiger?
Oh, that tiger was crazy.
I told you I would get you one day. I'm going to have you two placed in separate classes. We're going to annihilate your friendship.
George, do something.
Put the pin down, Mr. Krupp, or we'll hypnotize you.
What's happening?
I don't know. When I snap my fingers, you will obey our every command. You are now the amazing Captain Underpants!
Tra-la-la!
I honestly didn't think that would happen.
This summer,
Come, sidekick.
we gotta stop him.
What?
Why, thank you, vehicle person.
Probably gonna get him.
Their greatest creation
Captain Underpants, you can't actually fly!
I take to the sky like an ostrich.
Wow, he is super dumb.
is now their biggest problem.
Stand down, you monster! Tra-la-la! I think I'm starting to tire him out!
Based on the worldwide phenomenon,
Hiya, class. I'm your cool little teacher, not some scary guy with a secret evil agenda.
guys, I totally got this.
Yeah, totally, he's got it.
Kevin Hart, Ed Helms, Thomas Middleditch, Nick Kroll.
When it's cut all together like that, you really get a sense of the scope.
DreamWorks Captain Underpants.
Poor soul, you're trapped in some sort of invisible box-like prison.
Is it okay that I'm kind of loving this?
Yes and no.
I will set you free.
Oh, but mostly yes.
That looked way better than it had any right to ever be.
I know, right?
I know.
Oh my god.
When I first heard about it, I thought it was going to be terrible, but it's so good.
Oh my god, I was like, why touch Captain Underpants? Just leave it alone. It was a good time. It had its time. Move on. No, touch it. Touch all the Captain Underpants. Make more. Oh my god, that looks really good. That looks really funny.
I know.
Yeah, that looks spectacular.
They've got a lot of good people in the film, like Kevin Hart, Ed Helms are hilarious.
Yeah.
Weird seeing Kevin Hart, hearing Kevin Hart's voice on the child's face.
It's great.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but
No, it's
I'm
perfect.
okay with it.
But
Everything is
I can go.
perfect. You don't even know. I like how the characters literally look like 3D models of the action. Yeah, so did I.
Yeah,
like,
no, it was basically as if you just pulled all the characters straight out and just put them onto a screen. And just,
which honestly, like, if you told me you were gonna do that, like, I would have told you, oh, that won't look good.
yeah,
Like,
because even in the comments they just look like random, like
yeah.
little drawings, right?
But they've translated it really well.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
I mean, DreamWorks is obviously a really good animation company. They've got some pretty solid.
I mean,
movies
when they
so-
open with from the company that bought you Shrek, you know it's going to be fucking good.
Yeah, that's the point. I knew I was gonna have to send that to you or put in your news. I was like, I know he's gonna appreciate this.
Welcome, Rhoda,
It's,
to the podcast.
Nice. I think they've done something that not many people do, is that like they've seen the original thing that's beloved by God knows how many people, and they've just gone, we're just going to put literally this entire thing just on a TV screen.
Yeah, so we don't need to change it. We just need to change it from like several books into a movie.
Yeah.
Sorted.
Yeah.
I'll just leave
Like-
it paused at that bit. That was great.
The characters look just amazing. The voice work is really good. Like, the jokes are actually funny. If that's the trailer, I hope there's jokes in the film that are even funnier.
Yes.
For anyone who has recently entered chat, we are playing an interactive game called Antechamber. Questions are popping up on the side of the screen. If you write those words into Twitch chat, that'll count as a vote. And it will affect the game. Like, look, Cam has made me a hammer-wielding, jumping madman. And it literally is impossible to hit anything! But this is my life now!
Yes. So happens when you leave it to the will of the chat, right?
And then my second and third, I'll just do them both at the same time because they're basically the same thing. Come out. I'm not sure if you're going to get the article up. You don't have to. You can play the game if you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna play the game. Tell us
Basically.
about this.
There's this little film coming out in a couple of days,
Little is
or
right.
is already out, depending on where you are, called The Power Rangers. I'm sure you've probably heard of it. That one.
Yeah,
And it's
the
obviously
one
based
that
on...
looks like pretty crap, but had really good music.
Yeah, that's solid. That was absolutely on point. That was like
is,
going.
for people unaware, I'm sure everybody knows, but it's based on the Mighty Morphin series, which was the first one, which is obviously like Tommy, Jason, Billy, Trini, Kimberly, you know, that one. And it has recently come out, like now that people have seen it, that Trini, the Yellow Ranger, is a gay character, and the Blue Ranger, whose name I always forget, and it's really starting to annoy me, Billy, that's the one.
Billy, that's Billy, right? Yeah.
Yeah, is
I only know that
apparently
I'm reading the
autistic,
article right now.
which, for a film to have a gay character and an autistic character, you know...
For Power Rangers to have a gay character and
for,
autistic
for,
character.
for any film, it's ridiculously cool, but Power Rangers, of all things...
That's interesting. So,
Yeah, I mean-
so for the Trinity being gay, there's not gonna is that just whoa, boxes? Is that just a is that sorry, I don't know what's happening in the game. Is that just a thing they're saying this is the law of the world, or is it something that we are gonna see represented in the movie, in the relationships in the movie?
It's basically get the article to further help. It's basically
Thank you guys. I was
I
trapped in
don't
this
think
hole.
there's going to be proper in your face hey, this character's gay, you better enjoy the film kind of thing. It's just kind of they make it clear without kind of shoving it down your throats that she has an interest in women, and she's just kind of struggling to find herself and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Then obviously the person who's playing Billy, whose name I can't remember for the life of me, give me a second. He's obviously come out and talked about how his character is autistic in the film.
Yeah.
And how everyone, RG Cyber, that's the one, and how it's a lot of people are saying it's really weird because it's Power Rangers and it's kind of it's meant to be really campy 80s action, and they've given it this really serious tone. But in my opinion, I think it's quite good because obviously Power Rangers is a thing that appeals to adults, kids, and everything. If you can put things that like that in a film,
yeah,
it's good. It shows improvement.
Yeah.
From whitewashing.
It's a bit better than what Power Rangers used to do.
Since we were talking about whitewashing earlier, we can talk about some good things that are happening in cinema.
The original Blue Ranger, how it's gone from the original Blue Ranger leaving the show because he basically got bullied off for being gay. And it's good, nice improvement, and it's nice to see things like autism and everything actually getting represented in a film. And people not just
well, not the same way the accountant was let's all be autistic, we become cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're not gonna make a huge deal out of it and everything like that. They're probably just gonna mention it a couple of times.
Yeah, that's what I hope though. My worry is that they're just they're going, oh, that guy's autistic, but really if you watch the movie, there's no sign. Because because in that sense they'd just be trying to use autism and these minority traits to sell tickets, which would be disgusting. But that's me being worst case scenario.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people on the internet think is happening. They're just doing this to try and get more people to go and see it, and it's they're doing it because they can. It's the Power Rangers, you're allowed to get away with doing whatever, so why not just make it a bit more grounded in realism? Just have real world things that actually happen in the film. Because surprise, surprise, people can be
Megazords.
No, I don't believe it. It's not true. Believe them.
I mean, depending on who you speak to, I'm sure Megazord would seem more real than gay people, but
probably
we're not in Moscow, so.
Oh snap!
Putin, don't at me.
Political. Spawn Boy Podcast would like to remind you that the views of our guests are not the views of our original hosts.
Yes.
Thank you. There's also another thing that's also not in the link, but I just want to quickly mention. According to some reports, the live-action Mulan film, while it will have an Asian cast, they're apparently cutting a lot of songs out. One of which is Be a Man.
Okay, do they usually... Wait, is this real?
From a lot of internet reports, yes.
But
it's been a huge thing on the internet recently.
So, how do you feel about this, Andy?
But that's
Yeah,
Oh,
that was the
that-
internet's reaction as well.
but that's the best one.
I mean, I'm not sure if they're going through with it. Like, I just saw the internet throwing up a fucking shit
I'm
storm
not
about it.
surprised. That's absurd. Like,
Because they were like, you can't be like, hey, we're doing what a lot of films aren't doing. We're actually casting Asian people in a film about Asian people, but we're just taking out all the best songs and changing things.
no. So why would you do that? Just don't. It was such a good run. Don't ruin it. Don't do that.
Do people? So how do people feel about the? Ah, frickin'! I can't hit this. Thank you, Nia. Sorry. How do people feel about the live action Disney films? I
Beauty and the Beast was
love.
one of my favourite films.
Luke says a lot. Oh, okay, a lot of live action Disney remakes cut songs out, but it's a pretty big song to cut. Yeah, definitely. I agree with you in the sense that like I'm not surprised that they're cutting songs because the live actions tend to be like try and have more of an overarching like narrative focus. But yeah, like like for Mulan specifically, like that's like. At least from my understanding of it, is like that's the song. Like that's like Frozen's "Let It Go" is like
Yeah,
being mad at Mulan,
it's one of the first things you think of, right?
Yeah.
It would have been like if they could be our guest out of Beauty and the Beast. Which,
Did
by
they?
the way, they didn't, because I've seen Beauty and the Beast, one of the best films I've ever seen.
Really?
I fucking loved it.
Why? It's just a story about a woman banging a beast.
Because Beauty and the Beast was like my childhood. But now I get the live action, which is actually really good. I'm very faithful to the original film,
Fair enough.
Not much has changed. Obviously, Gaston wasn't some huge fucking monstrous human.
But why? He's the best character. He's the hero of the movie, right?
And he was still one of the best characters. Like, he was just a massive fucking uptight prick that just tried to shag everything.
Nice. Like my Mass Effect character.
Basically. But like he didn't have the sleeveless top on, like he had sleeves on.
Oh,
which
how
I
can you
thought
see
was
his guns? What?
Yeah,
Well, he doesn't have guns like the real Gaston has.
Nah, Luke Evans
Yeah,
doesn't have
that's
guns
true.
like the
I
real
guess
Gaston.
that's true.
But,
No, yeah.
like all the scenes with the Beast were really good. The voice acting was amazing. Ewan McGregor as Lunaire was the best thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Also, here's the best part of the film, Andy. The Clark Cogsworth. He waddles when he walks.
Uh-huh.
And it is the funniest thing in the fucking world. Honestly, it's amazing. So yeah, quick review of Beauty and the Beast there. For some random reason.
Yeah, I was wondering like who was watching it, so now I know that like at least someone I know watched it.
At least one person has watched it. At least
Because it's doing really well in the box office.
Yeah.
So like,
it fucking should.
Lots of people are watching. I just didn't know who those people were. And now I know like Lewis, huge Beauty and the Beast fan.
Yeah.
But, for all the right reasons. Like, I enjoyed the songs, not because I'm a fan of Beastie Alpha.
I don't know. That sounds like the right reasons to me.
Yeah, I mean that's what it's about, right? That's what the movie's about.
Yes.
Dude, Nia's keeping my game going, man. Nia is like a one-man game engine.
Someone's got to do it, right?
Okay, get me up there this time. Don't freaking screw me, yo.
I'm not gonna help this time. Okay, I didn't help last time I put the numbers in.
All right. Anything else? Andy?
I guess that'll be my turn then. Okay, so let's start with. Okay, I've got a few little snippets of Nintendo news.
Nintendo.
Oh boy.
So there's a little bit about there's more rampant speculation about new Switch games.
Put the columns in, guys.
There's a
trying to
rampant
teach chat how
speculation
to
about the new Pokemon game getting brought out. Is that the one for the Switch? Because Game Freak in Tokyo have been putting vacancies up for a new character modeler.
Woohoo!
So they've been the job ad they've asked for are looking for people who have experience using Maya and making characters for Wii U and PS Vita games. And the job responsibilities will include making exaggerated toon-style people, monsters, and item models. And so because of that, obviously, the entire internet exploded with, oh my god, the new Pokemon game's going to come out for the Switch, it's going to be fucking amazing, and then all this jazz. But obviously
hype! So the thing about like the Pokemon games on the Nintendo consoles are the ones like legit made by Nintendo.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. Like I was honestly like before Switch came out, I was very much of the mindset that like I like Nintendo hadn't really done anything in a while, like that kind of showed that they like how their development teams had aged.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know that they like understood like kind of like some of the newer stuff about like game development and the industry in general. But like then Breath of the Wild came out and they were like, we are the best game designers in the universe, don't even question it. So you know what? Like I think Switch Pokemon has the potential to be really cool. I want them to approach it the same way they approach Switch Zelda, which is like we've been doing the same thing for a long time. Let's break everything. Let's just change everything.
Oh my god, if they do that, oh my god.
Like,
it's got to the point where I've started thinking that I can't play Pokemon anymore because like the last like 2 or 3 games of Pokemon I've still bought them, but I've never actually finished them. I haven't got anywhere near finishing them.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's what Pokemon really needs, honestly. Is a slightly like
it totally does. At this point, it's getting to the point where it's now stale.
Yeah.
So, like you said with Zelda, they need to like look at all of their main like game categories that they have for Pokemon. Like they do A, B, C, D, whatever. It's like we're not doing any of that. We're doing totally opposite. All of those things, all gone. Yeah. So like, if they do, because I know it's been rumored that they're going to make like an open world free roaming version, and if they do that, I think all of the hype will come straight back, and people who like start to fade away from Pokemon will jump right back in just because it's something they loved, but in a totally different ballpark.
Yeah.
And then I'll end up buying a Switch.
Yeah, more people with Switches.
The Switch games are anything to go by. Pokemon game will be a 10 out of 10 next set. It'll have one little thing in the game that everybody hates, like Zelda has the weapon degradation. So like, Pokemon would have one little thing, but everything else would be absolutely perfect. Because apparently every Switch game is just amazing. By that I mean the one Switch game.
The one that exists.
Yeah, the one that matters, the only game.
Guys, give me a heart, please. Thank you. Thank you, chat.
My last beg chat.
And then the last little bit of Nintendo news. You know how we've been talking a while about the JoyCon having a few syncing issues?
Yeah.
Apparently they've someone called Sean Hollister, he's fat, who's not a Nintendo employee.
Okay, well I have some news on this as well, so let's see where this goes.
Okay. Well, this guy says I think he opened up his device and apparently there's a small bit of foam that comes on the end.
So he had the issue and then he sent it for repair, and he took a picture before repair and after repair.
Yeah, and he opened it after it got fixed, and he put a video up where they had treated this foam, and it's now insulated properly and doesn't desync anymore.
Yeah.
So obviously, whichever little bit of foam which was uninsulated was the lack of insulation was causing it to desync. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So Nintendo has actually made an official announcement about the Joy-Cons recently. Which explains a lot to me because, again, I have played with my Switch for over 100 hours, and I have never experienced a Joy-Con connection issue. Damn it. Nintendo's basically, the official statements come out today as like that they have found the issue with the Joy-Cons that some people are experiencing. They were like, just to clarify, there is a minority of people experiencing this problem. They haven't had return rates with the Switch that are higher than any other piece of Nintendo hardware.
It's only because it appears on YouTube all the time and stuff. People think it's like a huge thing, but it's like what? It's not even like it's just in the single digit of %, right?
Yeah. The issue is basically there was a manufacturing variance, is what they're calling it. Basically, one of the factories was having issues manufacturing them apparently. So the ones coming off that specific production line, some of those were having issues with connectivity. and they have said they fixed it, and if you have any issues to send it in like that guy did, and they'll repair yours. So the way they're repairing the ones that are being sent in is they're adding that foam. But like if you buy a new one off Amazon, it doesn't have that. It just works like the same way mine just works. Like it's just made correctly, basically. Like
so they had a few faulty things. They've now identified the fault so they can quite easily fix it.
Yeah. So that's good.
Yeah.
It's been like almost a month. I would have liked if they had done that quicker, for sure. Especially not even like the whole like we fixed it or we're replacing it thing, but just kind of like telling people that that like there is an issue and you're not crazy. Like,
even it's just in like the interest of transparency to say there's a couple of teething issues. We've identified the problem.
Yeah.
We can fix that. It's fine. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
But a couple of things that weren't fine. This is a different thing now. I was just doing some random reading about stuff on Kotaku a couple of days ago, and I found out that a couple of weekends ago there was something somewhere in Ireland tried to make their first convention in Dublin.
Uh-oh.
It was called GamerCon, and we'll just say didn't go well. So it was held as it was going to be a really good. It was going to be a really good convention from the way they build it. They were going to have like VR, they were going to have cosplay, they were going to have esports, and all of that got there. Like, it was all there, but people couldn't get in because the organizers of the event had oversold the venue. But it's not like a small amount of overselling. So basically, it was reported the convention center can hold 9,000 people. Do you want to guess how many tickets they sold?
1,200.
Are you going the wrong way?
Oversold.
Yeah, oversold.
Shit. I thought it was going to be like they oversold, but as it turns out, they debated themselves.
No, they really did. They oversold.
That's how these kind of cons go.
Yeah, I feel So they sold. Bear in mind the convention center. Okay, well, I'm just going to tell you. So the convention center could hold about 9,000 people or so. They sold 24,000 tickets.
That's definitely
more than 9,000. Should I put that there?
Why?
I'm assuming that they didn't think that that people would turn up.
People that paid money to be at a place would show up. You know, the thing is, if people paid money to be at a place, it doesn't matter if they showed up anyway. To be honest, you still don't oversell.
And then to make it even better,
what do they do?
The organisers on the day were then told that you can only have 7,000 in the event place. So basically, obviously there was huge outcry on the internet. There's pictures of like people saying that they were waiting 3 hours to get in, didn't even manage to get in the entire day, and they released the show founder called Ferdy Roberts released a statement to say they sincerely apologised. They severely underestimated the traffic flow as a first-time event, by which they meant they oversold by about 15,000 tickets. And they didn't forecast for the very strict health and safety capacities that they had to adhere to that they already knew about. And it temporarily impacted their ability to process the queue, which resulted in longer than expected wait times, by which they mean that after waiting for 3 hours, people gave up and went home.
Yeah.
So, and they're now issuing refunds to anyone who purchased a ticket but didn't have it scanned for entry. So if you waited for like an hour and a half and got in, you don't get a refund. So it's not really the best start for conventions in Ireland.
I mean, wasn't there that Tumblr? Was it Tumblr? The convention where they had the ball pit, and it was just terrible.
Yeah, I guess I don't know whether it's just a thing about like first-time conventions. It just always goes wrong.
Yeah, like some go better than others.
Yeah, this one not so good. Not great.
Well, it sounds like if it pulled off, it would have been something really interesting.
I mean, yeah, because they're trying to bring a new convention to a new country. Like they've not had conventions before, but did not work. Solid note.
That's sad.
And then continuing on sad news, I'm gonna go to another thing. So I'm sure as it's been all over the internet for the last couple of weeks, JonTron has been found out to be... He's got some very strange views, put it that way.
Gold! Give me gold!
Oh god, here we go.
And something that I didn't even know about, apparently he had been voicing a character in Yooka-Laylee, which is upcoming. And after his, let's say, iffy views about race and stuff became public, Yooka-Laylee have axed his voice acting from the game, basically. So they've put a statement out saying he's a talented video presenter who we were initially 2 years ago happy to include as a voice contributor in our game, but in light of his recent personal viewpoints, we have made the decision to remove his inclusion in the game via a content update. And they said they made it absolutely clear they don't endorse or support his personal viewpoints, and he doesn't represent them at any point.
Okay, I have potential issues with this.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Did they tell people, like, when they were buying this game that it was going to be voiced by JonTron?
Because it wasn't the main characters.
Like, I get that probably no one bought it because of that, but it's still removing content. Like, and if I was told that this content was in there, I don't know that I'm okay with the premise that sets.
I had no idea that he was voicing it. I don't know whether it was...
Probably one of those, it happens quite a lot on YouTube, like, they don't tend to announce it, like, they'll just say to the YouTubers, hey, can you make a video? But like, hey, I'm doing this thing, like, Vanos does it a lot, where it's like, hey, check out this mobile game.
Because there will be, like,
stuff like that.
I'm sure there's, like, 5 people in the universe, like, who watched the JonTron video where he was like, I'm going to be voicing a Yooka-Laylee, and they were like, oh, I'll support Yooka-Laylee, I like JonTron. And I get that they can cancel, I guess they can cancel the order, the game's not out. Had the game been out, though, like, I would have been very anti this.
Yeah.
Just like, I feel like it's important to be able to draw distinctions between a person and their work. Like, I'm not saying necessarily hire JonTron again, but, like, at the end of the day, like, it's been done. You know, that work's been put in. People, like, programmers, like, put that voice in the game. Like, you know, they mapped it.
To follow up on this, I've just been doing a little bit of looking right now, and apparently in the last 24 hours, the Kickstarter page has been spammed with angry responses, and there are people wanting a refund.
Yeah, no, well deserved.
I mean, which makes it, like I said, it's like if they paid because they wanted to see him in the game, that's totally fair.
Yeah, for sure.
But
you can't do that. You can't do that. Before you make a decision to include someone in your game, like, you know, make sure you know what you're doing, you know?
Yes, apparently if you donated 15 or more, you'll get a free copy of the game, so I imagine that much would probably... But Kickstarter don't normally do refunds.
No.
But I guess if they get enough complaints or enough things about it, they might have to change their president.
No, they won't. Kickstarter's had worse than this. Kickstarter won't change. It's up to the Yooka-Laylee devs to, like, what type of people they want to be.
Yeah,
I think personally, like,
could do it, but...
Yeah, I think personally, not only can they easily refund, like, everyone that bought the game for JonTron because, like, they made so much more money, I think that they should, like, because, like, the whole thing is like, oh, we got rid of JonTron because we're so good, right? We're so much better than regular devs. We care about racism and stuff, right? If you're so good, you should also care about your customers' quality of product. So I think those people that want a refund deserve a refund.
Yeah.
We'll see how that unfolds.
Yeah. It's perfectly within their right to ask for a refund. And just as a final bit, JonTron has also, he's been very chill about it. He understood why. He tweeted about it to say it was unfortunate to see them remove me from Yooka-Laylee, but he understands their decision and he wished them the best for their launch.
Yeah. Which
is, like, gracious, I guess. It's not it's not as if he's stirring up his fans to try and get them to...
He's just like, they dropped me because of who I am.
Yeah, because I have very questionable views.
On certain
fair play.
Rough topics.
Yeah. But now, okay, I'm up to my last bit of news, and it's the one we've been waiting for.
Oh, baby! Let me take a swig of water. I'm ready to talk.
Yeah, okay, so... As you may have known, This very little known game has been coming out in the last couple days.
Yeah. Got a cult following, small little cult
Yeah,
following.
just a little, very, very exclusive game. Not many people know about it.
Yeah.
So it's called Mass Effect Andromeda.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, I know, right? But just
Not
in
playing it at
case.
the minute.
If you want to
Don't know
vote,
what I'm
Josh,
about.
in the top corner of the game, it gives you options. If you type those options, that counts as a vote of like how it affects the game. It is interactive.
Yeah.
No money back.
You're just not doing it right.
Unlike Yooka-Laylee, we did not remove any content that was promised.
Yeah. We're better than this. But yeah, okay, so first of all, before I talk about the other thing, obviously Kamal, you haven't been playing this, so Spoder, what do you think?
Hey, my opinion is massively valid.
Kamal, your opinion is irrelevant.
I don't need. What is this? Okay.
Alright, I'm
I'm
actually
gonna
going
go
to
to you, Kamal. Don't worry, calm down.
Christ.
So
What do you think about
far,
Kamal?
I have played 22 hours, 4 minutes, 54 seconds.
That's quite a lot.
It's quite
I've
accurate.
completed 31%. This game is fucking massive.
Yeah.
And I love it.
I've done like 50%. I've spent like 150 hours in Zelda, so like, eat my. No, I'm kidding. Carry on.
Yeah, but no, there's a difference. Because
Look,
you suck. So
hours into a game is irrelevant, mate, honestly. Like,
yeah, but
so.
this game, like, I had my reserves about it. I was like, unsure. Not gonna lie to you, I really enjoy the game. It's fun.
That's good.
Like, I get that. Yeah, trust me. I've noticed the terrible,
Probably not noticed, can you?
terrible facial animations.
Dude, it's not like that's the thing. Okay, like I
Some
mean
of
that's
them aren't bad.
I'm
Like, a
tr-
lot of them are fine. Like, it's just the same as the other Mass Effects. I don't know why everyone's making it happy with the last bit, to be honest. But,
the facial animations.
yeah.
No, they're worse. No, they're
I
definitely
think
the
they're
same.
worse than the other
They're
Mass
definitely
Effects.
worse. They're definitely not the same. They're absolutely worse.
I think they are.
But
I think
since
they are
we're on
worse.
this bit, there was
Wait. Wait,
what?
sorry.
Mhm.
How did you feel about Mass Effect? I want to say something before we get into facial animations. How did you
Okay,
how are you liking it first?
Okay, so I haven't played it as long as Spoder. I've probably played it maybe about 10, 11 hours or so. Again, I am really enjoying it. I'm having a great time with it. But I will say, I was talking to Kamal about it yesterday, and it does feel to me a little bit like a game that was somewhat rushed. It's got a few bits in where you can see it wasn't quite polished as well as it could have been.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a few bits where you think like this works, but it could have been like better. You could have made a more like, efficient workaround for this.
Yeah.
Without any, obviously I'm not going to talk about any spoilers or anything, but one of the things I felt that shows that quite well is the cover system.
Yeah.
So like, obviously it's kind of, I know they've all talked about how the Mass Effect combat is, so you don't need cover as much anymore because you've got a lot more maneuverability.
Yeah.
But you can still take cover. You still go up to like a piece of like debris or whatever. You will still slide into it.
Yeah.
But you have to manually turn your character
Yeah.
to fire in different directions, which I feel, well, it's not like a huge problem,
No.
but it does feel a little bit clunky.
It just seems like something they could have easily repaired.
Like,
Yeah, you could have quite easily made it so you don't have to press a button to change.
yeah. Like, I think the thing with the cover system is, like, they had to make way for the jump button. Whoever decided to put that in now. So, like, they've had to remap a couple of controls, and, like, they've just been like, oh, we'll just put people into auto cover, and it's not bad. Like, it's nice that I don't have to think about having to get into cover. But it's also annoying when I'm just trying to walk past to something, then all of a sudden Ryder's just, like, hiding behind a wall.
I killed myself by accident.
And it's just like, I'm just trying to, like, walk through an empty base, and Ryder's just trying to fucking James Bond his way in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it can get a bit irritating at times, but it's not the worst thing in the world, so...
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, again, I've been playing it for a long. I've just spent most of my time just wandering around with my ship, talking to everyone, and just flirting with my entire crew. So,
oh yeah, that's
as that part of Mass Effect that's what I said when it was coming out. That's what I'm buying it for, and it does that. It does it quite well. So I'm perfectly happy with that.
Okay. So what I wanted to say about Mass Effect before we go into facial animations isn't really it's not a complaint about Mass Effect. It's a complaint about people.
Yeah.
And video game review systems. Okay, I'm a strong advocate in every review space in the world, movies, video games, music, whatever, of like the absolute annihilation of number-based rating systems.
No, it's just an arbitrary number, isn't it?
I want them removed from the existence of the plane of the Earth. If you want to freaking read a review for a video game, read a fucking review! Read! You're a grown adult human being! Use your words, man! Like, it triggers me. Like, a number cannot represent 5 paragraphs, 10 paragraphs, 2 pages of text. It can't do that. A number can't do that. Like, it's impossible. And that triggers me. But on a side note, if we are going to use number systems, which is not a thing that will ever go away, can we stop pretending 7 out of 10 is a bad number? 7 out of 10 is not a bad number.
Yeah,
7 out of 10 is a first in university. 7 out of 10 is fine. Like, so many people come to you and they ask you for your opinion on Mass Effect Andromeda, expecting it to be like, either you're a fanboy and you like it, or you hate it because it got crap reviews. It didn't get crap reviews. It got okay reviews. Like, I'm so fed up with IGN and GameStop or Spot or whatever their freaking stupid website is called. Like, just like being like, oh, you know, this bottom end of the scale, like everything below 6 is reserved for games that are buggy, like, or like broken. You know, like in a major way. And it's like, no, 5 should be a game that is completely indifferent.
Bang average. It has no redeeming or bad qualities.
Right?
It's just solidly nothing. It's a grey, tasteless beige game.
If your game is broken, it should be a 1! It shouldn't be a 5! It shouldn't be like a 3 or a 4 or a 6, like some of these stupid games are getting, and they're like, 6, bad. It's like, 6, bad my ass. 6, okay. That's what it should be.
Josh says that 7 is a solid average, but I would disagree. I would say 7 is verging on quite good.
Yeah, I think I think
average is say 5 to 6.
Yeah, I think, like, and again, obviously we're talking numbers, so it's flawed from the ground up.
Yeah, so it's wrong already. It's already wrong. But if you must talk about numbers,
yeah. But like I'd say yeah, 7 is like slightly above average. But like the issues that it has might be complete turnoffs to some people. That's what I would say a 7 is. But for most people, it will be an above average like experience. 8, like, you know, is kind of like a bit better than that, and then 9 is like great, like an outstanding game. And then 10,
flawless.
I don't know. I'm also like this is a different thing. This is something I feel differently about. Like I don't think a 10 out of 10 should be like perfect. Because like then there's no point in having 10 out of 10 because no game is ever going to be perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I suppose so.
And to clarify for everyone that knows that I am a Zelda fan, Zelda would be like a 9 out of 10 for me. It wouldn't be even a 10 out of 10. But not because it's not perfect, because it has like...
it would be 2 solid paragraphs of why it's amazing, but it has a few...
Yeah, and then like...
It wouldn't be a number at all, ideally.
Yeah, ideally. So that's... I just wanted to get that off my chest, because I feel like so many games like are hurt by being given a correct score because of the way we interpret scores and because of the way websites like IGN review games and lead to that interpretation of scores. You know, I think the space in film is a lot better. Like, I think people are super willing to watch a 7 out of 10, even a 6 out of 10 IMDb like action film for example. You know, like there's an understanding there. Like, this is what you're getting. This is the type of content. Like, people understand that. Like, when I go to watch Transformers, I'm gonna have big robots whack each other, and I don't expect like an amazing story. You know, for example.
Don't expect like enormous plot twists and Machiavellian ties.
Yeah, but people can't freaking get in games that a game can be like a 6 out of 10 and still have like amazing combat, and if you care about combat, that's fine. You know?
It could just be a one-dimensional game where it's got a very good aspect in one area, but it just doesn't bother with the other ones.
I mean, the what's it called, Josh? Like whether BioWare wants to say 7 out of 10 will go, that's up to them. That is completely acceptable if it's what they want to do. They're a studio.
Yeah, if they know they're going to have like all the fans are going to buy it and they're going to make money, that's their choice.
EA will drop them if they do that.
Yeah,
like...
It's a ridiculous choice because like they'll make money on that one, but they'll also get a reputation for just half-assing it because they know they'll make money from previous fans, and that won't tide them well in the future.
Yes.
All right.
But
yeah. Okay. So that's all I wanted to say about reviews. Let's talk about facial animations for a sec.
Okay. So obviously, as you know from last week, we talked about the facial animations. We showed the video of all the derpy faces, how they go from either being very stiff-faced and very unemotional to, in my case, my character looked like she was having a stroke in the middle of a conversation, which personally I just thought was quite funny. Because I don't know, I wasn't gonna get like hung up on it because I knew it was gonna be a thing.
Yeah.
But obviously we'll see. There are comparisons between it and Mass Effect 3, and they're absolutely worse. Like, I would, if someone argues to say that they're better or they're the same, that's just not true. They're definitely worse.
Yeah,
But,
I agree. I think the people that are seeing it as the same, they're not focusing on the actual animation. They're more focusing on the graphics of the face. While yes, the graphics of the face are better. That's just generational improvements. But the actual movement of the face and stuff is
the
worse in my
expressions
opinion.
and stuff. It's like it's as if they've had very heavy Botox or something like that, and their faces are like almost locked into masks, right?
Yeah. I swear if Bioware to... So, okay, now I understand where Josh's comments are coming from. It's a place of fear! I'm sorry for you, Josh. Don't worry. It'll be okay.
I just... to be honest, I just don't really care.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not letting it rule my...
That's fair.
You don't need to let it rule your playthrough. It's like, you just, like... Fine, some of the faces look a bit dumb. Whatever, just...
Yeah, and it's completely valid the other way around. Like, it's completely valid to be like, oh, I buy Mass Effect for conversations, and this animation's not good enough for me. That's also, all of those are valid points of views. There's an interesting conversation to be had about the faces, and Andy's linked, and I'm sure we'll talk about a bit. Do you want to go through that?
Yeah, sure, let's go for it. So, basically, there's been... Obviously, there was a guy named Jonathan Cooper who was an ex-animator from As an ex-animator, he worked on Mass Effect 2, Assassin's Creed 3, and Uncharted.
Yeah, he's an lead. He's a lead animator on Mass Effect 1. He was a lead cinematic animator on Mass Effect 2. I don't know exactly his position on Assassin's Creed 3. And then on Uncharted, he was another one of the head animators at Naughty Dog, which we all know has the greatest animations in the universe.
Yeah,
Fact.
You can't even fault Naughty Dog. It's the best company in the world.
So this guy has been putting a lengthy series of tweets about basically about the facial animations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he said, player expectations have grown about the dialogue and stuff. They want to see faces express what the characters are saying.
Yeah.
And they said they had 8 hours of facial performance in Mass Effect 1, but up in Horizon Zero Dawn it's about 15, so it's pretty much doubled.
Yeah. I think he makes so I read his entire Twitter thing. So because he tweeted out initially people have been asking me to comment on animation. Obviously, you know why people are asking him. They're like, "Oh, you did the games that I liked, and you're a guy in the know. Shit on this game." It's basically what people were asking for. And he proceeded to tweet. I think by the way, to this guy, can you just write an article, man? Can you not just
it's much easier.
Can you just not tweet
one of those that just post tweet after tweet after?
Yeah, he replied to himself 20 times.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I think it was to try and boil it down. I think he talked about one of the ways.
I kind of want to go through it all, to be honest.
Okay, well, we can go through it all first, but I gotta do this bit first to say. So one particular one he pointed out was automating the animation process about dialogue. So it was a computer algorithm finds out you have a bunch of pre-created animations about speaking, and a computer algorithm syncs it all together to make it into a readable conversation.
Yeah.
So it involved talking, movement, lip syncs, and head movements based on emotions and stuff. And when they worked on Witcher 3, they had body shape and body movement as well, to obviously to increase the emotions shown by the characters.
Yeah.
And in his eyes, after watching Andromeda, it looks like they lowered the quality of the algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why all the faces are super blank.
Yeah.
When they're talking, and sometimes when you look at the characters, it's nothing but only lip syncing, so like, you don't see like the eyes aren't like changing, the shoulders aren't moving, things like that that obviously people use in regular conversation.
Yeah.
And this obviously they think it's part of the time. Is at the time. I think he said that he probably thought that BioWare would have probably planned to do every single one of these lines of like dialogue. They would have planned to do it by hand and sort it out, like micromanage it all.
Yeah.
But they only got like a 5-year cycle to do it, and which obviously that's clearly not enough time for a game like Mass Effect, where there's thousands of lines of dialogue with dozens and dozens of different characters.
Yeah.
And obviously, so in 5 years, that's just not enough time to do that, even if with like the team that they've probably had. So, which has obviously led to all the dead faces and all this like animation nonsense.
Didn't they give all this shit to the company that very rarely does all of this anyway?
Well,
there's like the 3 teams.
It was weird. So like, yeah, BioWare does have 3 teams. Two of the teams are main teams that do like overarching game development on Dragon Age and Mass Effect, and then the final team is used up to this point has been used exclusively for polish and final stage verification, bug removal in video games. They did do the majority of the development on Andromeda. But it's not like that's not why like that this happened. Like the people in that team are still like 12, 15 years experience in the video game industry. Like this isn't like, while it would have been their first Mass Effect game and their first full developed
it's probably
BioWare
a contributing
game,
factor, but not like
I don't know. I don't think it is. I think any of the teams would have had the same issue in the same time span. Like I don't like those people in that team aren't like this isn't their first job, you know. They didn't get hired at BioWare as their first job. They've made games before. Like, they've been making games their whole life. Like, they're not amateurs, like, by any case. Just because they're amateurs in, like, the BioWare world, they know what they're doing. Because I've seen that argument a lot. It's like they're
more experienced than a lot of people.
Then yeah, it's not outsourcing, Josh. I mean, it's a game. Every game company outsources, but like that specifically wasn't an outsource. Like that was a division in BioWare. Like it was internal. Like surely other things were outsourced. Conversion, porting, stuff like that is almost always universally outsourced by every company, just because of like man hours and time and stuff. I wanted to show something on screen. This is a cool little. Oh, it was already on screen. This is a cool little screenshot of Frostbite, circa Dragon Age Inquisition, that Jonathan tweeted. And what he was talking about in his tweets was that like what most companies tend to do is they get like humans to hand animate specific like emotions, right? And specific like kind of mouth movements that happen a lot, that you'd be like, oh, you know, when words that start with this, the mouth opens like this, words that do this, the mouth does that. And then those things are then given to designers who cut them into pieces, like hundreds of pieces, and then you can in an engine you can drop. So this is the animation cycle here for poses. You can drop these pieces of pre-animated stuff and blend them.
And you splice it into like a workable emotion.
Yeah, and the computer does calculations in between, so it's not like cutting video in. Like there are transformations, like math for those transformations occurs to make them fuse into one another. So it's more complex than just like cut and stitch, but like it is in essence cut and stitch, right?
Yeah.
So that's normal. That's done. That's done everywhere. No, they have no excuse. I agree with you, Josh. Like that's what I was saying. Like I was saying, that's not an like the third party studio is not an excuse. So that's done in every video game. I did find like Andy mentioned it interesting. Like this was my first time learning from him that like there is a heavy part of the animation process after that hand creation is algorithmic. Witcher 3's algorithm for animation is insane. Again, like Andy said, so like a regular animation algorithm apparently takes words, figures out sentence context, similar like, so that's natural language processing, similar to what like Google will do on your phone, and then selects from this pool of animations that the animators have done stuff that cross into that emotional range of those words, puts them together, and then outputs you an animation that is then usually touched up by a human and corrected, right? And then the Witcher 3 one added body movement to that, so it was like, so instead of it just being like, this is sassy so his face does this, it's like, this is sassy so his face does this and his body does this.
So body position and stuff like that.
Which, clearly worked if you go look at some of the Witcher 3 stuff.
The Witcher 3 animations are like on point, so it clearly does work.
Yeah. So, and the Andromeda one, like, when they chose to par down their algorithm, like he's saying he suspects they did, it wasn't a decision of, like, stupidity. Like, what they were trying to do, if they did that, if this did happen, what they would have been trying to do would be to get the base stuff, like the lip syncing, done by the algorithm, and then have every character hand modeled completely to give it like a more human touch. So probably they were trying to achieve something greater than anything that had been done before, and then by trying to overachieve, they ended up stumbling.
Yeah,
like
so
massively.
they shot for the stars and fell short, basically.
Yeah,
because people have obviously been tweeting the BioWare staff, being like, "Please fix this game."
Yeah,
and like they've said multiple times, like they're looking into it about what they can do. Obviously, it's not going to be like day one fix. The patch isn't going to come out anytime.
Honestly, like I would bet money that animation will never be patched. But,
I don't think it's a, obviously they couldn't do all of this with 5 years. Like, what do you want? What do you want them to do?
Like, I think people need to accept it and move on. Was the animation bugs? Please. And I know they have said specifically with bugs that is happening. Animation, they're always very vague for clear reasons. Because like they don't know. Like they probably know, and they're hoping that they're wrong. Like that they can find a way to do it. I will say though, a lot of this was kind of like interesting to me just because you get some background on what happened in Andromeda, right?
Yeah.
But something that people aren't talking about that is kind of damning for BioWare is that, like, so I think I talked about this a little bit. I don't know if it was to Luke personally or last podcast. I'm actually a bit like brain dead on that. But anyway, I'm going to say it again because it's relevant. A couple months ago, like towards the end of the financial year, EA did what every company that has shareholders does, and they had a shareholder conference, an end of year financial review. And at the review, the CTO of EA was giving a talk that you can see publicly or you can read drafts of, because shareholder meetings are always public. They have to be. It's a legality. And he says something that is pretty damning for BioWare. He says EA is doing extremely well financially from the past 2 years, unlike the trend of video games today. Basically, the video game market is having a decline, even though it's predicted to have an increase, right? So he's saying, we're doing great, keep buying shares from us. And then he says, we're actually doing so financially well that and we have offered this to our teams, if our team working on Mass Effect Andromeda required, we could delay the game up to 5 more months from its March release date. And I was... So EA apparently was completely on board, was giving them more time if they wanted it, and they didn't take it.
And that just makes them look terrible at this point.
Yeah,
like,
and I was like,
especially when everyone points out, there's like they've ran out of time.
Yeah, and it's just like they did, but like they also could have like had more.
Yeah,
like 5 months is no joke. You know, no.
Maybe it wouldn't have fixed the problem straight away, but it's like
I mean, just for the bugs, even like ignoring animation, just for the bugs, I would have. It could
have made all the difference, right?
EA, no, this happened before the release of Andromeda. If EA was like, EA wouldn't say that as a bluff or anything because it just makes them look bad now. Like, to all of their shareholders, they're like, we could easily do time, we could easily give them time, Mass Effect's going to be polished, is basically what they were saying. Because if they wanted more time, they could have it. And BioWare chose not to take more time, and the game came out bad. So as an EA shareholder right now, I think badly of EA. So, like, them saying that wouldn't have any like positive repercussions. So they definitely wouldn't have said it unless it was true. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because they've like properly screwed themselves right now in that sense.
Yeah, so it's not right.
It's interesting. Another thing also Jonathan says that I feel like is important to point out is he wants people to understand the depth of the undertaking that is an RPG versus something like Uncharted, because he gets a lot of messages like from people specifically saying like, look at Uncharted, look at this, right? That's what their comparisons are, or look at this game and look at this game. And obviously you can compare Mass Effect to the older Mass Effects, it's no excuse, but like just like in the sense of like a person who plays video games, I think it's important to like understand what he was trying to say, which is basically Uncharted, games like Uncharted that have like amazing facial animations like that, every single talking character, every single scene in that game that you watch someone's mouth move is scripted completely. Like, from beginning to end, writers sit down, they pick every line accurately, they decide on exactly how every face moves. There's no way to alter like how that conversation trajectory goes. You know, there's no options of like responses. There's no alternative feedback from the character. It's a straight line. You know, it's linear as fudge, right? That is a million times easier than what happens in an RPG where there's like a million different ways you can interact in a point. And then one final thing in defense of BioWare, running out like in defense of BioWare's animation team, at least, Mass Effect Andromeda has 800 individual talking characters.
Yeah.
Fully voice acted that needed individual facial animation. 800.
That's not a 5-year job. That's
just don't do it. That's just don't do it. Like,
it's impossible. So even if they'd say like put like this original algorithm we talked about, that this talked about, in for like most of, let's say, the characters that only had so many appearances or whatever, and then that tried to use the this massively ambitious thing for, let's say, a half a dozen of them, perhaps, like the squad mates and the main character. You would think that'd be a more realistic way to do it. But obviously they made their choice, and now this is what they have to deal with.
And it's and another thing though, like, and this is excusing BioWare at this point. Like, all of that before I think was just information, but I want to give BioWare a break actually, because another thing is like people now are gonna say that's no excuse. You're a massive studio. You should have known this. You should have known that. But you know, if this had turned out the other way, if they had hit the nail on the head, people would have been like, oh, GG BioWare. Good, look at them being daring. No game studio wants to be daring anymore. You can't have it your cake and eat it too. If you want game studios to try stuff, they're gonna mess up sometimes. That's gonna happen, you know? And like, you have to be like, okay, they tried something, they messed up, they'll learn from that mistake. That's what's important, right? Like, the next time BioWare tries to make a game, they don't go, oh, we can animate 800 faces. But like, someone has to try to animate 800 faces for us to know that that's impossible. Like,
someone's gotta take that big step, right?
And so many games that have come out that are successful. Legend of Zelda is a great example of that. All of that stuff in Zelda was trial and error. Like, there was a solid chance that was going to be the worst Zelda game ever made. I'll tell you now, like, the Zelda fan base was, like, solidly split on their assumptions of what this game was going to be. When you tell a Zelda fan, we're destroying everything that makes Zelda Zelda,
I know a
you
lot
worry.
of nervous Zelda fans.
Yeah, you worry, right? And then it came out well, and if it hadn't come out well, it would have sucked. But you would have been like, okay, they tried that, and they know where to go from now, you know? Like, no, the game, people wouldn't have reacted like that, but that's how we should react, right? Like, it's not like they're forcing you to buy it, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have a responsibility to buy this game. So if it's bad, just don't buy it. There's no point getting, like, in a nerdy, like, freaking hype train hissy fit over everything, like gamers always do. Like, just chill your beans,
you know? Andromeda's like unplayable. Like,
no, absolutely not. It's got a few niggly glitches, and the faces look a bit dumb. It's not as if like you said, it's not totally tanked. It's not a broken game.
They knew it was an issue, Josh, but it's not enough of an issue to not release the game. The game is fine. The game is a 7 out of 10. That's okay. Like, it was either that or not release a game that they've been working on for 5 years. Of course they're going to release it, you know?
Yeah, they have to release it. Even the bugs that are there, they are not game-breaking bugs. They're not, like, indicative towards gameplay. They are mildly annoying at best.
Yeah.
And if every game was cancelled or, like, pushed back because they've got a slightly irritating bug, like, games would, like,
never come out
on time or come out at all.
Yeah.
Because that's like the whole problem with fixing code, isn't it? That you find your issue. When you fix it, you find out there's like 7 more have just appeared, and it's like, well...
It's a balancing act, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, you've just got to make it as good as possible.
They got to a point where like they were like...
It's spinning plates, right? That'd be a good way to put it.
Yeah, it's definitely... It's a weird one. It's a weird one. I do feel for them a bit. I do feel for them a bit, for sure. I do think it's a bit... there needs to be a bit of leniency there. At the same time, obviously, for example, they did have like a 5-month buffer window that they didn't use for bugs. I never touch on the animations thing when I mention that. Like, I don't... Like, animation, they committed to a thing at the beginning of a 5-year life cycle. Even if 3 years in they realized there was no way to fix that, that's too late, you know? At this point, you work with what you've got. And you make the best game you can make with what you've got. You're 3 years into development. There's people jobs on the line for this. Like, you try and make as much money. I don't... Okay, just final point on this was my argument with Josh and Chad. I don't think there are that many shoddy AAA games, to be honest. Nier came out, Nier's AAA, Nier nailed it. Zelda came out, Zelda's AAA, Zelda nailed it. Horizon came out, Horizon's AAA, Horizon nailed it. Mass Effect came out, Mass Effect's AAA, and it's okay. Like, it's not even the worst thing in the universe. It's like solidly fine. I've watched so many people play it, you know? Like, it's okay. Sometimes a guy falls through the ground, big whoop-de-doo.
But that happens with loads of games, though.
It does.
Yeah,
it's absolutely not even the first one.
Worse in most games. Like, I've not really encountered any like proper game-breaking glitches.
What else has come out this year? This year's been pretty good for AAA games. I'm trying to think of like other bad games that have come out this year. Like Halo Wars came out, that was great. That was solid. What else? There was a bunch of other games that came out that I wasn't interested in, but like they were good. They were functioning, you know.
Yeah.
I do think it's more... There are more success... By a mile, there are more successes than failures. I think we focus on failures. I think society is focused on negatives constantly.
Yeah, it's easier to drag out a failure and parade it up in front of everyone, but...
Yeah.
Well, quiet, like, games that perform pretty well, that go under the radar.
Oh, well.
Yeah. It's always one of the things, isn't it?
I mentioned this yesterday, but I thought I'd mention it on the podcast.
Okay.
Jason from Kotaku.
Yeah.
Good old Jason Schreier. However you say his last name. He leaked to me and he was like, I've got a message, Destiny 2's real. And people were like, yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then he released a picture of a poster. I think it's in French.
Yeah, it looks like it. I'm actually going to show that on screen. I can't believe we don't have that in the dump.
Yeah, I forgot, to be honest. And then he was like, oh, we'll be getting it announced today. And obviously the internet went fucking mental.
Didn't get announced today.
No, but what he said was he misread the text he got, and it was the important correction was basically that it might be announced today, which was now yesterday. But it would definitely be announced soon.
Yeah. I mean... like, you can see it. It's real.
Yeah.
And basically, what's going on with it is essentially there was a whole rumour going around that there was going to be an 8 or 10 minute gameplay demo of D3, but that's been debunked. Like, that's probably not going to be.
You really
There'll
don't
probably
think
be some.
You really don't think like a game that's going to have a demo in September is going to have a gameplay demo in E3? Like, I feel like that's got to happen.
Yeah, but it probably won't be like center stage 10 minutes of it. It'll probably have like a short gameplay trailer and like a bunch of story trailers.
That feel when I shouldn't have quit GameStop before Destiny 2 comes out. You've got a while to go. Apparently the open beta is in 8th of September, so I imagine release date will be like October, late September-ish. We'll get to play it at we'll get to play it at UGX, guys.
From what a lot of the reports are saying is that they're really going to take their time with it, and like, I mean, they did with Destiny, the first one. Like, they really took their time, and like, I think they pushed it back once or twice, if I remember.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are saying that, like, especially Destiny fans, because I watch Destiny on Twitch and everything, a lot of them are saying like, we'd rather have it pushed back a couple of months or however long just to make it better. Like, they're not really forced, they'll just still play Destiny 1, not a problem.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know how internally... Oh yeah, some extra news is it's coming out on PC.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's the thing, but who really cares?
Hey,
Like,
yo.
who plays PC anymore?
Like, let's be real though, like, it was weird to me when Destiny 1 came out, like, and they were like, this isn't on PC. It seemed like the perfect game for PC. I felt like they shot themselves in the foot. Like, I think it would have had a massive PC audience. It was basically an MMO, and it was also an FPS.
That's PC life, right?
Yeah, right?
That's what PC people live for. Loot grindy games.
I hope so, Nia. I hope so. I'm so, like, that's what I'm praying for. There's no news on that, but I'm praying for that crossplay.
That'd be pretty solid.
Cross-platform would obviously be amazing, but at the same time, it's like most companies will say, PC players will fucking destroy console players.
Yeah, but they can do it like Gears did, like, and have the cross-platform only be in the PvE and not the PvP.
I mean, I'm sure they'd find a way to do it if they did it, but... Because I know they wanted to do cross-platform for Destiny on PS4 and Xbox One.
Yeah.
But that just never came to be, which is quite sad.
Yeah, same with
people I know
Rocket
that play
League,
Destiny play on PS4.
Cross-platform's almost always easier when PC is involved, because when it's just PC, Xbox, Sony and Microsoft kind of get in each other's throats a bit. But when you use PC, you kind of get like an arbiter, like in the middle. Like it's like having a middleman, like to negotiate the stupid like marriage of theirs. So yeah, I can understand why that didn't happen. Sony is usually the biggest dick in those conversations. Microsoft is usually like, yeah, let's do it, and Sony's like, we'll consider it, and then they never get back.
So let me DM you later, then just never comes back.
Gears has cross-platform and PvP, just not ranked. That's new, I think, because it wasn't cross-platform and PvP when I played it back in September.
I think Neil linked it to us a couple of months ago when we were doing the podcast, and he said it was getting announced.
Oh, okay. Oops.
I remember that.
I'm so sorry. I apologize.
About that.
There you go.
I got you, Neil.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah, it makes sense too. Because, like I said, PC players would probably absolutely annihilate console scrubs.
Oh, yeah, it wouldn't even be a fair contest. Like, I'm a console scrub, but it just...
children.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, is that us? Do we have any more things to talk about?
No, I think that's it.
I think we're out of news.
Yeah.
Alright. Do your thing, Andy.
So, again, thanks for watching, guys. If you want to watch this again, or other ones, this one's probably going to get taken down because it's got a Netflix trailer on it, but it'll be on YouTube for maybe 20 minutes, but still all of our other ones. It will also include a link dump with all the stuff we've talked about. If you do want us to talk about anything else for next week, send us a message on Discord, on Twitch, on Twitter, tweet us, and we'll put it in the link dump with your name on it. And I believe next week we should be back to regular cast, shouldn't we?
Maybe, God knows.
We don't know at this point. I'm pretty sure Luke's supposed to be here next week,
yeah,
but
so.
you know, we'll never know. But anyway, yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye.